Hey everybody, this is Nima Moridi with Intero Real Estate, and today we're going to chat about 5 factors to be mindful of to get your offer accepted in today's competitive market. Number 1, the EMD, Earnest Money Deposit, also known as the initial deposit. This is 3% of the purchase price, and it's usually submitted within 72 hours of offer acceptance, and in today's competitive market, I would highly recommend trying to shave that down to 24 hours. It shows the seller your intent and how interested you are in the home. Now, in some multiple offer situations, I have personally a few times offered more of the initial deposit. Instead of 3%, offering, let's say, 5% upfront within 24 hours. And then if you were planning on putting 20% down, the remaining 15% will be paid, a week or so before escrow closes. So you're technically not paying more money for the home, just a little bit more upfront. Again, showing the seller how serious you are, and in many cases, that can be a difference between you getting the home and not. Number 2, let's talk about contingencies. In a purchase agreement, there's 3 different contingencies to be mindful of. Number 1, the loan contingency. Number 2, appraisal. Number 3, home. In today's market, they're generally going to offer you the home inspection and roof inspection and pest inspection as well on a property. The seller does their due diligence by hiring professionals, a third party to come out there, survey the property, and get a report over, which you can then disclose to potential buyers. Coupling this with the seller's disclosures, I don't believe you need a home inspection contingency in today's market. Now, the loan and appraisal contingency is a little bit more on the buyer side to decide. However, in today's competitive market, I would highly recommend not putting a loan contingency or an appraisal contingency. If you do your due diligence with checking comparables in the area and showing the intent and how much you want the home, going in non-contingent and as clean of an offer as possible will highly increase your chances of getting an offer accepted. Number 3, the escrow period. In today's market, we're generally seeing about 35-day escrow durations. Now, if you work with a lender, I have a few which can do a lot lower durations and contingencies. So instead of a 30 to 35 day, you can shorten it down to, let's say, a 14-day. I have a lender at B of A, for example, that can do this for well-qualified borrowers. And that also can help you tremendously when it comes to writing an offer and getting that accepted. The seller, at the end of the day, during that escrow period, will still be paying the mortgage for the property. So if you can get them out 2 weeks earlier, if that's, they'd like to leave as early as possible, that would behoove them. So let's talk about number 4. These are extra offerings. So sometimes having the disclosure signed, signing the disclosures with the purchase agreement, that can be very beneficial. Rent back. Sometimes with sellers selling their home and let's just say buying another home in a different area, well, that 30 days of, let's just say 33 days of rent back can really help them get the proceeds from the sale, pack up all their things, and get it over to the new home. Instead of having to find some temporary housing, you're giving them some wiggle room. And a lot of the times they can, really appreciate that and be a little bit more mindful of your offer. I can tell you when I purchased my home, this is something that I offered to the seller and it helped them tremendously. And yes, I did get the home, as you can see. Also, let's talk about preemptive offers. If you have an opportunity, my suggestion is to chat with a listing agent and see if the sellers would be open to a preemptive offer. It doesn't hurt to ask, and I can tell you in 2021, I was able to get about 4 or 5 different properties for my clients just by using this tactic. Instead of waiting until Monday to write an offer, let's just say when they see the open house on the weekend, writing it up then and there on the weekend can a lot of the time be the difference between you getting the home and not getting the home. Lastly, in this category, let's talk about love letters. So it's a little bit more controversial today. They can violate some fair housing laws. This is more of like an ongoing, newer development. So many states have recommended not sending out love letters. So I would recommend check with your local municipality and your broker and see if it makes sense. But it's a tactic that one can use. I know, again, we use it a lot in previous years, but lately it's been frowned upon a little bit more. And lastly, I would have to say communication with the listing agent, folks. Don't just have your agent write up an offer and send it over to the listing agent. Communicate with them. Give them your intention of what you're planning on doing. let them know, keep them in the loop, right? Many times, but just by chatting with the listing agent, you can get what the seller's looking for, their expectations, what's really important to them. And that would really help you with getting your offer accepted. Going back to that, I'm sorry, I know I sound like a broken record. Lastly, let me talk about the 3 factors that come into play to make a real estate transaction complete. You got your real estate side, you got the lending side, and you got the title company. We 3 work together to ensure that the process is handled accordingly and we can get you your home. So it can be a fairly hectic time in the real estate market, and a real estate transaction itself has so many working parts involved. But if you know what you're going into, if you're educated by your agent, it really helps you a lot with getting the offer accepted and keeping a smooth escrow going forward until you get your keys. So I really appreciate you guys tuning in and checking out this video. Please like, subscribe, and share. And again, drop a line. Let me know if there's anything that you'd like for me to chat about. I would love to get some new content to put out there and provide value to you folks. So I appreciate you watching, and have a productive week.